Short row shaping, wrap and turn. To work short row shaping, you have to do something called wrap and turn, and this is how you do it. I've worked the last 4 stitches on the needle, and I've also used a contrasting color just for ease in seeing the stitches. So the first thing you do is on the right side row with the yarn at the back, you slip the next stitch purlwise. Then bring that yarn between the needles to the front of the work. Return that stitch back to the left needle, and you have wrapped 1 stitch. So you're going to turn your work, therefore called wrap and turn. So I bring the yarn to the back because I'm going to turn my work, but as you see there's a wrapped stitch there, which we'll work on later. So I've turned my work and now I'm on the wrong side. So I'm going to work to the next stitch that needs to be wrapped. So I'll purl to the last 4 stitches on the needle. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. On the wrong side, you keep your yarn at the front. You're going to slip the next stitch, then bring the yarn to the back through the needles, between the needles. Return that stitch back to the left needle, and there you see you've wrapped that purl stitch, and you can see that wrap. I'll loosen it a bit, but there it is. That's the wrap that you will work with later. So you've wrapped a purl stitch and turned the work. Now once you've finished all your short row shaping, it will say knit across the row, picking up the wraps, and let me show you what that means. So I'm going to knit across to my wrapped stitch, and there you can see that wrap stitch, and you insert the right needle into the wrap stitch and into the stitch on the needle. So you see you have both the wrap stitch and the stitch on the left needle, and you're going to knit them together and then knit to the end. Then you're going to turn your work and purl across, so that on the wrong side you're going to purl that wrap stitch together with the stitch on the needle. So I will purl to my last 4 stitches, and there I have my wrapped stitch, which is the stitch that was wrapped around that purl stitch. So I'm going to insert it into the wrap stitch and into the purl stitch. In this case, you put it in the purl stitch first, and then the stitch on the needle, and then the wrap stitch from behind, like so. So you have the wrap stitch on your right needle and the purl stitch from the left needle, and purl those 2 together and purl to the end. By doing this, you have a nice smooth transition between the short rows. If you did not wrap your stitch, you would have a big hole there, but you see it's a nice smooth transition. And that's short row shaping, wrap and turn.